Hi, welcome to our brand new Microsoft Azure Fundamental AZ 900 Practice Questions 2022. In this video, we are going to discuss all the dummy questions of the Microsoft AZ 900 exam. I'm your host Neetu Rai from updegree, and let's get started. Question 61. Select yes or no for the following statement. Azure services in public preview come with a Service Level Agreement (SLA). Now, the options are Option A, yes. Option B, no. And the correct answer is Option B, no. Explanation: no. Resources in the public review don't come with an SLA. That is the reason why resources under public review were not recommended for production load. Question 62. What is the advantage of passwordless authentication over password plus multi-factor authentication? Now the options are Option A, availability. Option B, convenience. Option C, security. Option D, performance. And the correct answer is Option B, convenience. Explanation: passwordless authentication provides a higher level of convenience over the password or MFA style of authentication. Security is similar between them. Question 63. Which Azure management tool analyzes your uses of Azure and makes suggestions specifically targeted to help you optimize your uses of Azure regarding cost, security, and performance? Now the options are Option A, Azure Mobile App. Option B, Azure Service Health. Option C, Azure Advisor. Option D, Azure Firewall. And the correct answer is Option C, Azure Advisor. Explanation: Azure Advisor analyzes your specific uses of Azure and makes helpful suggestions on how it can be improved. Question 64. A company plans to set up a solution in Azure. The solution must meet the following requirements. Provide a digital online assistant for speech support. What is the best option for this requirement? Now the options are Option A, Azure Machine Learning. Option B, Azure IoT Hub. Option C, Azure Bot Service. Option D, Azure Functions. And the correct answer is Option C, Azure Bot Service. Explanation: Azure Bot Service is a managed bot development service that helps you seamlessly connect to your users via popular channels. Pay only for messages delivered using premium channels, which allow your bot to communicate with users within your own application or on your website. Question 65. Select yes or no for the following statement. When the virtual machine is stopped, does the storage attached to it incur cost? Now the options are Option A, yes. Option B, no. And the correct answer is Option A, yes. Explanation: yes, the disk attached to a virtual machine have different costs associated with them. Question 66. True or false? You can create a virtual machine without attaching it to a virtual network. Now, the options are Option A, false. Option B, true. And the correct answer is Option A, false. Explanation: all virtual machines must be associated with at least one virtual network subnet using a network interface card. Question 67. Your company has users all over the world. You are asked to prepare a solution that can distribute content to users around the world with minimal latency. Which of the following could you use for this requirement? Now, the options are Option A, Azure Content Delivery Network. Option B, Azure Load Balancer. Option C, Azure Application Gateway. Option D, Azure Virtual Network. And the correct answer is Option A, Azure Content Delivery Network. Explanation: Azure Content Delivery Network (CDN) is a global CDN solution for delivering high bandwidth content. With Azure CDN, you can cache static objects loaded from Azure Blob Storage, a web application, or any publicly accessible web server by using the closest point of presence POP server. Question 68. Select yes or no for the following statement. Azure Tags can be applied to Azure resources, resource groups, and subscriptions, which will help to logically organize the resources into a taxonomy. Now, the options are option A, yes, option B, no. And the correct answer is option A, yes. Explanation. Yes, tags can be leveraged to organize the resources and categorize the billing. According to Azure documentation, you apply tags to your Azure resources, resource groups, and subscriptions to logically organize them into a taxonomy. Each tag consists of a name and a value pair. For example, you can apply the name environment and the value production to all the resources in production. Question 69. Select the ways to increase the security of a traditional user ID and password system. Choose all that apply. Now, the options are option A, require longer and more complex passwords. Option B, use multi-factor authentication which requires an additional device, something you have, to verify identity. Option C, do not allow users to log into an application except using a company registered device. Option D, require users to change their passwords more frequently. And the correct answer is option A, B, C, and D. All are correct. Explanation. All of these are ways to increase the security on an account. Question 70. One of the three core principles of the zero trust model of security is, now, the options are option A, block all external network ports. Option B, verify explicitly. Option C, use a firewall on the network perimeter. Option D, always encrypt data stored on the hard disk. And the correct answer is option B, verify explicitly. Explanation. The three principles of zero trust are verify explicitly, use least privilege access, and assume breach. Question 71. Your company has an Azure subscription. They have created a virtual network and also launched a set of virtual machines in the virtual network. Now, they wanted to change the way the traffic is routed in the virtual network. Which of the following concept could be used to satisfy this requirement? Now, the options are option A, Azure Management Groups. Option B, User-Defined Routes. Option C, Network Security Groups. Option D, Application Security Groups. And the correct answer is option B, User-Defined Routes. Explanation. Azure automatically creates a route table for each subnet within an Azure virtual network and adds system default routes to the table. You can override some of the Azure system routes with custom routes and add additional custom routes to route tables. Azure routes outbound traffic from a subnet based on the routes in a subnet's route table. Question 72. Your company has a virtual network and the networking team wants to implement the following requirements. To create 2 subnets and 2 VMS in each subnet. To create a user-defined route to enable the 2 subnet resources to communicate. Can a user-defined route be created without creating a subnet? Now, the options are option A, UDR cannot be created without creating subnet. Option B, there is no relation between root and subnet. Option C, UDR can be created without creating subnet. Option D, at least one UDR is required to create a subnet. And the correct answer is option C, UDR can be created without creating subnet. Explanation. UDR can be created prior to the creation of the subnet, but it would be effective only once the root is associated with subnet. Option A is incorrect. There is no mandatory validation to have a subnet while creating a UDR. Option B is incorrect. UDR is relevant when resources of the subnets communicate with each other. Option D is incorrect. UDR is required to associate with subnet. It is not required during the creation. Question 73. What is the concept of availability? Now, the options are option A, a system that has a single point of failure. Option B, The percentage of time a system responds properly to request, expressed as a percentage over time. Option C. A system that can scale up and scale down depending on customer demand. Option D. A system must have 100% of time to be considered available. And the correct answer is option C. A system that can scale up and scale down depending on customer demand. Explanation. Availability. What percentage of time does a system respond properly to request? Expressed as a percentage over time for more information on reason and availability zones. Question 74. What is the benefit of using PowerShell over CLI? Now, the options are option A, cheaper, option B, quicker to deploy VMS, option C, more powerful commands, option D, no benefit, it is the same. And the correct answer is option D, no benefit, it is the same. Explanation. There is no benefit, only a matter of personal choice. Question 75. As a cloud solutions architect, the company management asked you to check how aligned this company's security posture is with Microsoft's best practice recommendations for security. Which security feature would help to identify the current identity practices and advise improvements? Now, the options are option A, Azure Information Protection, option B, Azure AD Identity Protection, option C, Security Center, option D, Azure AD Identity Secure Score. And the correct answer is option D, Azure AD Identity Secure Score. Explanation. Azure AD Identity Secure Score helps in identifying the Identity Secure Score to provide the recommendations. The Identity Secure Score is a percentage that functions as an indicator for how aligned you are with Microsoft's best practice recommendations for security. Each improvement action in Identity Secure Score is tailored to your specific configuration. Thank you for watching this video. Please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Buy our AZ 900 premium questions with 50% off. Check link in the description.